Hello there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Here we do ASMR tarot readings for the collective. And before we get into anything, I would first like to just acknowledge that I am currently recovering from a pretty nasty cold, so I do apologize for the congested sound of my voice. I probably should have waited a couple more days to film this video, but I was really excited to do something for the fall equinox, which is today, the day that I'm filming, and this video should be coming out maybe tomorrow or the day after. So we will very much still be in that energy. A little bit of housekeeping. I feel awkward to do this, but I am currently offering 20% off of all of my readings. If you book between now and October 12th, and just let me know that you found me through this channel. So please do, I'll be linking my website down below, as well as you can just email me. I'll also put that below, but it's craneandmoontarot@gmail.com. Crane and Moon Tarot being all one word. So, the fall equinox. This is probably one of my favorite times of the year, and maybe one of my favorite moments on the wheel of the year as well. The fall equinox is the time during this season when the days and the night are exactly equal in hours. It is also the halfway point on the zodiacal wheel of the year, and this moment in time is very much about balance. But what I wanted to explore today is that I find it to be also very much about transitions. So we are now leaving behind the light half of the year and beginning to move into the dark half of the year. So today's reading is going to be about transitions. We're going to look into where you're moving through a transition in your life right now and how to navigate it. And I do have a spread that I created for this particular session, and we're just gonna flip through the trusty tarot notebook and find that spread. Alright, so we are going to be pulling 6 cards for this reading, and the first card is going to tell us, where are we moving through a transition at this time? The second card, we're going to ask, what is this transition here to teach us? Number 3 will be, what am I leaving behind? And then, what am I moving towards? Question 5 will be, what am I learning from living in between these two things? And lastly, a message of guidance and support for this transitional time. And so I won't be lighting any incense today because, as I said, I've got a cold going on and breathing in smoke doesn't sound like a very good idea. But I do have this beautiful dragon's blood spray, and we're just going to use it to cleanse and set the space. And dragon's blood is a great amplifier, so it'll just help to give even a little more potency to this reading. All right. Don't worry, I won't spray it directly at you. Just going to spritz a couple of these into the air. It smells like citrus and cinnamon. Feels very appropriate for the time of the year. Where I am, we've really lucked out. Yesterday was 30 degrees Celsius, and today, the first day of fall, is 15, and I am rather thrilled about that. I am a cold weather creature. Next, we are going to light our candle and set an intention. Let's pull out the matches. And that one looks a bit thin. I think this is the one. Alright, if you would like to join me in putting a hand over the heart and closing down the eyes, on behalf of your highest and greatest well-being and my own, and the highest and greatest well-being of all, we call upon sacred, benevolent guidance within us and without that is in perfect alignment for this reading. Magic of feather, song and air, awaken, inspire, and make aware. Magic of claw, hearth and fire, warm, enliven, and inspire. Magic of fin, womb and water, love stir, and dreams conjure. Magic of fur, seed and earth, embody, nourish, and give birth. Magic within and around awaken, spirits answers and guidance taken. All right, now let's mess around with some cards. The deck we are going to be using today is the Transient Light Tarot by Ari Weisner. I actually just picked this deck up yesterday. Felt like treating myself to a new one. And I went into chapters and they had one of these and I had actually never heard of it before, but the style of artwork really appealed to me. And the creator is queer, which as a queer person always makes me happy. So, as I was saying, I will be pulling 6 cards for this spread. And after I give the cards a nice gentle shuffle. Look at the backs of these, aren't they gorgeous? I'd love to hear in the comments what it is that you love most about fall. I don't know if I could choose, but potentially the fact that I get to live in chunky sweaters. There's almost nothing I love more than bundling up and getting nice and cozy on a cool day. After I'm done filming, I plan to visit this tree in a park near me. I don't know what kind of tree it is. I'm not the best at identifying different plant life, but I met up with a friend one day and we went to the park and we found this tree and both of us were like, what is this energy? It felt like the veil was just thinner as we were sitting under it. So I plan to go and visit and make an offering and maybe do a reading for myself, probably to connect with my ancestors. In Japanese culture, where part of my ancestry is, the fall equinox is a day to honor the dead. I usually go to visit my grandparents' grave, but it's pretty far out of my way and I'm still not feeling 100%, so I might do that this weekend instead. But I think I will go and visit my tree. Okay. So as always, well, not always, but typically these days, We're going to spread out the cards, and I've brought back the feather to help choose today. Card number 1, where are we going through the transition at this time? Card number 2, what is this transition teaching us? Card number 3, what are we leaving behind? Card number 4, what are we moving towards? Card number 5, what are we learning from living in between? And card number 6, a message of guidance and support during this transitional time, for this transitional time. Okay. Card number 1, we have the 2 of coins. Card number 2, ooh, we have death. Card number 3, the Ace of Wands. Card number 4, the 10 of Swords. Number 5, the 10 of Coins. And lastly, the Wheel. The 2 of Coins is letting us know that we are currently transitioning from an externally focused state to an internally focused one. And this is so perfect for this time of year, because that is exactly what we are moving out of and into. We are finished with the active, growing summer months, and we are turning inwards. We are slowing down, taking the time to pause and reflect and explore. Now, This doesn't necessarily mean that we won't be active during this time. Many of us don't have much of a choice in that. But even though we are being active, spiritually, mentally, our focus will be to go within, to learn about ourselves, maybe to do some shadow work, and to take the time to reflect on how things are going and what's working for us and what isn't, and how we might start to plant the seeds for change. And what we are learning from this transition is that everything changes, that nothing stays the same, that each step we take on the road of our lives transforms us. We leave behind who we were and we become endlessly, always going internal, external, back internal again. The rhythm of the Two of Coins is one of shift and change. We change what is within us, and it changes what is without, and that changes what is within. We die 1,000,000 times in our lives. 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, infinitely, each moment bringing newness, bringing freshness, bringing rebirth. And the Death card is a major arcana card. And that means that this lesson that we are learning, it is showing up for us in so many different aspects of our lives. It is showing up in the season we are in as we watch the leaves turn yellow and orange and fiery red and then drop from the trees. What are we dropping? What can this time teach us about which leaves are ready to go? What can death teach us as we move closer and closer to it? The veil is thin this time of year, and that means that we have access to insight and wisdom through this transformational process. Now, the Ace of Wands is what we are moving out of. And this is reinforcing what we are seeing in the Two of Coins. We are moving out of an active, creative, fiery state of being. Now may not be the time to focus completely on the external. Now may be the time to get more receptive, to listen, to find quiet and space, to hear what our mind, our body, and our soul are telling us, to hear the guidance of Spirit, the universe, ancestors. Again, we may not have the luxury of making this a constant thing, but we are being asked to create the space where we can find it, to be open and receptive. Now, what are we moving into? We have the Ten of Swords. 10 broken swords lie on the ground under a full moon, and the butterfly represents transformation of the heart. The Ten of Swords is letting us know that we are moving into this space of reflection so that we may finally put to rest thought patterns, beliefs, and their associated behaviors that are dead, that are ready to be released with honor and with thanks. These swords are already broken. They are no longer working for us, and yet we may subconsciously still be trying to use them. And this time for pause and reflection and listening is to help us to lay them down. Because once we are able to do that, we will be able to live our lives more fully and authentically when it is time to emerge from the internal and make changes in our external world as well. Now, what are we learning from being in between these two states? We are learning to recognize all that we have to give. The Ten of Coins speaks to abundance, but it is not the kind of abundance we hoard. It is the kind of internal abundance that we use to better the world around us. Being in between two states so different can be confusing and difficult. We don't generally like liminal states. We don't generally like uncertainty and death processes. So, finding the fortitude to make this transition, finding the bravery and learning how to hold ourselves in this in this transition, in this confusion, in this not knowing, will help us to be more empathetic and helpful to others who are also in this state, or maybe in the future. We are all moving into this new phase of the year. As a collective, we are experiencing a lot of the same things. How can we be there to support each other? Lastly, we have the wheel as our message of guidance and support. And the wheel is letting us know that if you're anything like me, and like a lot of us, I think, the idea of going within, of slowing down, of being less active, and actually connecting with our internal world might sound unappealing, maybe even frightening. If you're worried, how do I even do this work? I wouldn't even know where to start. The wheel is letting us know that the energy is moving in that direction. The earth itself is slowing down, is shedding, is pausing, is going into the deep sleep. You don't have to make this happen. You just have to let the flow take you where it wants to. Healing can often feel like a daunting task. Like we have to pour so much energy into it to make things happen. And the wheel is a reminder that sometimes if we just get out of our own way, it will happen naturally as it is meant to. And it may frustrate us that it doesn't happen as quickly or as obviously as we might want it to, but when we think about how our body heals, yes, we clean the wound, we reset the bone, we put on a band-aid, maybe even surgery is required depending on how bad it is. But once we've done all that, all that we can do, then the body just takes over and it does what it is meant to do naturally. Let that rhythm remind you that it's not all on you. And in fact, by trying to make certain things happen, we can mess with that natural rhythm. We can mess with that healing process. So, where can you find a little bit of grace to give yourself? Where can you ease off just a little bit and cultivate the trust that things are moving in the direction that they are meant to? Okay, dear hearts, that was your reading for the autumn equinox, and I think this is a really, really beautiful time, and we're seeing some amazing shifts possibly on the horizon. If you enjoyed this video, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. I cherish every comment that I get, especially. And again, from now until October 12th, you can receive 20% off of a reading that you book with me by just letting me know that you found me through this channel. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful fall, and thank you so much for watching.